This is the Normal Nerds Podcast, where two very normal dudes talk about very nerdy stuff and whatever else you feel like talking about. I'm your host, Maxwell Cercia.
And I'm your host who would tap at the bear, Davis Bates.
This episode, we're going to be talking about Season 8 of the show Alone. So sit back, relax, and welcome to the Normal Nerds Podcast. All right, Davis.
Yo.
So, my boss Tiffany, who never will listen to the show, I'll give her a shout out anyways, but she'll never listen because she's not a nerd in any sense of the word, was talking about the show called Alone. And if you've watched Alone, you'll know it's a great show. But if you haven't watched Alone, it's a show where they take 10 people and they send them out into the wilderness, all isolated and alone, hence the name of the show. And whoever makes the longest wins $500,000. So she said it was great. A few other people at work started to watch it. So I was like, hey, let's check it out. I started watching it. Season 8 is the only thing on Netflix. That's where we started watching it. And holy shit, it is a great show.
Oh my God.
And I feel like we're on the verge of it being fucking huge.
Yeah.
And like, not a lot of people are talking about it, but everybody who has seen it loves it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, my parents were in love with it. It was wild.
It's awesome.
It's such an insane
Season
show.
6. We're on season 6 right now.
Yeah. So season 8 is on Netflix exclusively. No, it's on both actually, Hulu and Netflix. But then the earlier seasons,
The only one on Netflix.
yeah, is on. But then the earlier seasons are all on Hulu. And they're so far they're awesome. But season 8 is what we want to talk about, and it is.
It's the only one we finished.
Yeah, it's the only one we finished so far. Yeah.
And the most recent.
That's why the review is relevant. But that show was insane. So they're all survivalists. That's the big thing to take away first from this, because you can't just go. The general listener just can't go out and do this. I would die within 24 hours, if that.
I think.
If that.
I think you'd make it 24 hours.
I don't know. I'd probably eat some weird berries and die.
You wouldn't do any research beforehand?
I would do my best, but let's be real here. The moment I get out there, I'm gonna forget everything.
I think you would just be like, "Fuck this," and then just leave.
Probably, yeah. Honestly, I mean, the moment so they're all given this little walkie-talkie, and it's called tapping when they decide to
satellite cell phone.
Unnecessary.
Satellite phone.
Unnecessary, but all right.
Not a walkie-talkie.
It does the same thing.
It'd be the greatest walkie-talkie in the
thing.
history of time.
Does the same thing, but anyways. And it's called tapping when they decide to bail from the show. They just got to call this number, and they're tapping out. So they leave them in a terrible area that just in British Columbia with bears, not like just black bears, grizzly bears, just wandering around the area. It's their home. It's their territory. And there were so many people that have bear encounters in this show.
Oh yeah,
to the point where they were maybe 20 yards from a bear, a big one that wanted to eat them, and I'm like, no.
I would say out of the 10 people, I think 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah,
Had bear encounters.
there's less than a handful that didn't see a bear. That was.
I think it was just the one guy.
It tapped, yeah. So obviously, this is a spoiler episode, so just be ready for that.
Well, okay. At this point, we explain the show to you. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Then come back and listen to the podcast, and then hear us talk about it. Spoiler from here now. I think the guy who taps out in the beginning, don't remember his fucking name.
Neither do I.
Also, side note, if you have heart problems,
don't
go on the show.
Terrible. He taps out because of a heart attack.
2 seasons we have watched. 2 guys who had previous heart attacks. Both have tapped out. So if you have heart problems, don't try to survive in the wilderness.
Don't do that.
He didn't see a bear, and then I'm trying to think.
He was only there for a few days.
I'm trying to think of anyone. Did Matt see a bear?
Yes.
So then everyone but that guy.
Yep, pretty much everyone.
So 9 people out of the 10.
Yeah, because
90% of people
girl saw a bear. Oh my God, yeah.
Because the one guy who builds the shelter in the beginning, Jordan.
Yeah, that's it.
The main reason he wants to get a shelter earlier because he heard a bear.
Yes.
Which is that's counts.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I guess I say yeah.
That one bear with Coulter.
Oh man,
that was probably the scariest bear. Besides the one with Rose.
Yeah, the one that was hunting her.
Yeah.
So there were
Coulter's was probably scary.
Coulter was probably second scariest, because Rose was actually being hunted.
Oh my God.
And I would and mad props. So there are several characters in the show. We'll talk about a few of them, but there's one that I would like to talk about right now. Rose was a character who got on there immediately, like first episode, and I thought you're not gonna go anywhere. You're kind of dumb. She got sick instantly after eating berries. I thought she was just gonna be I thought she bit off more than she could chew, especially when she got sick and all this stuff. And lo and behold, she was one of the strongest characters ever on that show. She was hunted by a bear at one point and still managed to stay in the show, which is insane. I would have tapped out at that point. I don't understand how you could just be hunted and keep going. And then instead of having, she was actually doing pretty well, and she didn't tap out at all. She had to be medically removed,
Yeah,
which they'll do in the
no.
show. They do regular medical checks, and if you are unwell, they'll pull you out. Like they're not here to have you die of starvation.
No.
And she had to be pulled out medically, and I was like, I had the most respect for her. Second most respect for her after the guy who won. I had the most respect for her out of that show. So shout out to Rose. Did an amazing job. Mad respect.
Out of everyone, yeah, out of all the medical pulls that happened, I felt the worst for her.
Yes, because she wanted to keep going.
Yeah, and she probably could have okay, so
Shelter.
we'll talk shelters in a second.
Yeah.
But her shelter sucked, and she just passed out. She didn't have the chops to make it.
No.
Factual. Liked her better than Teresa.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But she didn't talk to me. Also, she was the hottest contestant, so that kind of.
This is also fair. Yes, this is true.
So Rose, if you're listening, you're the hottest contestant.
Hey, I'm single.
Is she? Yeah, she is too.
Yeah. She's the whole bit about it.
And she's a badass.
That is facts. That is facts. Help me hunt. I'm bad at it.
The medical pulls suck. Talk medical pulls right now.
Yeah.
Because usually the contestant can keep going. Because like the concept of it being alone, people might be like thinking like, oh, I could be alone. Okay, it's a big Gen Z millennial thing. Like, oh, I don't want to hang out with anybody ever.
Yeah.
Yes, you might
True.
be an introvert and you prefer to be alone, but having zero human contact for just a week, think about that, or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a long
And this
time.
isn't like we're talking about like not just not seeing people in person.
Yeah.
You have no internet.
No internet.
You're not connecting in any way with entertainment
You are
or
literally
people. Like
talking
you
to
are
no one.
alone. You are no shot.
Yeah, sure.
So I think people don't understand that. Like that would draw on you incredibly so.
Like 90% of them end up being like giving a news report to their camera.
Pretty much, yeah.
Where they're
All these
like,
people had
hey, here's
families,
the
yeah.
weather here.
And all these people had families too, and they were just like, that was like killing them.
Yeah, I will say this. When you tap out because you miss your family, you're lying.
Yeah, true. You just don't want to do it anymore.
You miss your family, sure. But really, you just don't have the chops to handle it.
No, you just don't want to do this anymore. Because,
Yeah,
let's be real here. If you won $500,000, you can spend a lot more time with your family.
I'd be
a
really
lot more.
pissed if my wife was like, I want to go on the show. I'd be like, oh, okay. It's going to suck not seeing you for a really long time. But like, yeah. And it would be terrible. It would be terrible.
It would be awful.
But I'd be
Miserable.
like, but we know
Horrible.
what we're getting into. And she came back and was like, well, it's because I miss you. I'd be like,
Go
well,
back.
yeah, no fucking shit, honey.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Like,
go back. Try to get back there.
Yeah, get
go back.
$500,000.
Yeah, I know. Then we can hang out all the time.
Yeah, I know. Then we don't need to work.
Exactly. Whoa. But yeah, so there were. But
Rose is the worst medical pull.
She's the worst medical pull.
Like you feel real. They carry her out of there.
Yeah, well, that was pretty bad.
Cheektowaga, not Cheektowaga.
That's here. That's Buffalo.
It's like, what is it? I don't fucking remember the name. It's some fucking Native American name. I don't remember what it is, but
Oh, it's Chico Lake.
I don't think that's right. Is that right?
I think so.
I'm gonna look it up.
You should look it up.
I'm gonna
I
look
think
it up.
I got at least 4 letters correct
No,
there.
you're pretty close. You're
Yeah,
very
yeah,
close.
Anyways, so she gets pulled. The other 2 people get pulled are Coulter, who this man built a boat somehow. Yes, he built a boat out of twigs and a tarp, which is incredible. And Teresa, who had probably the best shelter on the entire show. Well, that season I should say, because she had a degree in or a PhD in primitive life or something like that, and she built this awesome shelter that was half in the ground. It was total science around it. It was awesome. I think she had the best.
Chilco, you were close.
Ah, damn, Chilco. So close.
Chilco,
So,
you were
Chilco Lake in British Columbia.
Yes.
Which is Canada for those of us who are in the US and don't care. So she probably had the best structure. And
Yeah, but
who'd be like,
okay.
go ahead.
Before we go on permanent shelters, she got Teresa. I like Teresa because her shelter was dope.
Yes.
But she got fucking lucky.
Yeah, she did.
She walked along the ocean, lake beach. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. Lake beach there, and she found like 2 big fish.
Yeah,
like, that's bullshit.
So throughout the entirety of the show, like people couldn't
No
fish.
fish.
No
No
fish,
one
which
could
is fairly wild for that season, actually. Like
Well,
usually
that's
fishing goes.
because 2 things. One, there was a gill net thing that the area wouldn't allow.
Correct.
Like,
Yes,
gill
that's
nets
certain
actually
times, yeah.
work a lot in other seasons.
Yes.
Is what we've heard. 2, they weren't allowed to use bait, which is stupid.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
That's kind of weird.
That's kind of weird.
I think they want to add a little extra challenge. Here's the thing. Alone. So there's a season Alone, I think it's season 7,
Okay.
where they have 2 people per, like, it's stupid. They have
So you're
someone.
not alone?
Yes, I know. Yes. They have someone, they drop one person and then drop another person far away. And that other person has to make it to the other person. And then they camp out and live together, blah, blah. dumb. I know. Here's the thing. I know the show is called Alone. Yes.
Oh, Alone but not. Like
Yeah.
that's what it seems to be called, Alone but not.
And I think what it is a bunch of executives and producers, whatever, are like, all right, we got to add a little flair this season. We got to add a little. Stop. Your show is a perfect formula. Just keep getting new people. That's all you need.
That's all you
Just
do.
new people, new locations, different locations. Go back to the Arctic. That place is fucking crazy.
That looks horrible.
Like, just bring new people. There is one season where it's a redemption season, which is awesome. They take a bunch of people who failed and like
Bring them back in.
That's dope.
That sounds cool.
But like, don't stop change. Don't change the formula.
Yeah,
So I think
you're
they
good.
wanted to change the formula. They were like, you can't use bait, and it made fishing incredibly hard.
Almost impossible, actually, for most of the contestants.
pretty much all
So,
of them.
which makes it even worse when Teresa just finds fish washing up on
Exactly.
the way. Like, that's stupid lucky. That was just not great. But to the point, her structure was probably the best. After that, who would you say was number 2?
I like Clay's.
Clay's was pretty good. It looked legit.
Jordan's was really good,
Yes.
but he lasted he barely lasted. So
Yes.
barely got to see anything.
I'm also going to give it, I'm going to say Teresa, Clay, Biko had those are the top 3, I think.
I didn't really like because
No, you didn't? I thought he, putting the bark on, I know it didn't look great, but it was actually pretty
he had
sturdy.
so many cracks in it.
That's true, but then he went
didn't
through. Then he
build
filled,
it
but he filled it in with moss later on.
Yeah, but still, the tarp thing he did on it was so loose. It had so many. He was always cold. He was
This
always
is true.
cold.
That is true. This is true.
So
this
it's like his shelter was so close. I would put his 4th
Okay.
behind Jordan's. 'Cause
Okay.
Jordan's was really good.
Jordan's was solid. Yeah.
Yeah. If he just tightened up that top a little bit, it
Okay.
wouldn't
Fair.
be so cold all the
Fair.
time.
Fair.
Yeah.
I guess he fixed it later. I'm pretty sure.
No, he didn't fix the top. He fixed the sides.
I thought he fixed the top.
He fixed it pretty well. Teresa's definitely the best. If you
Yes,
watch the
Teresa's
show,
is the best.
She
That
was
is the point.
Only person in the show. Mine is Coulter's, but I didn't like Coulter's because it was like part of a rock, so stupid.
Yeah.
She's the only person in the show who's, when she's chilling in the shelter, she's not wearing a jacket.
No. Yeah, because she's actually warm in it because she
actually.
built it with science.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
Hers is dope.
So that's probably the show. That was cool. They're cool shelters. Shelters are my favorite part of the show. I love the shelters. I love building stuff. It's great. So that was really, really cool stuff. And then we went on. I think we just talk about now who won.
Okay, yeah. So before we go, who won? Let's do our top 5,
Top 5 contestants.
top 3 contestants.
Top 3 contestants. Okay. So, I mean, obviously the top from the beginning, I liked Clay. Clay was my number 1. He was the only. He hunted a deer.
everyone.
He's better than everyone. He killed a
better than
deer. He smoked that deer. At the end, I mean,
He chased
at the
a
end
mountain
of-
lion.
he chased that. Yeah, he wanted to hunt a mountain lion.
Yeah, chased a mountain lion. Chasing bear tracks.
Wild.
Bear chased at him. He goes, "Oh, that was crazy."
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow.
And then-
set an alarm trap for a bear when it's going near his food, so he'd come out like in the middle of the night. So if a bear attacked his food in the middle of the night, he'd come out and deal with it.
Yeah, I know.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, not have the bear run away from the
No.
loud noise. Just like, so
Deal with
I
it.
can fight it.
Yeah, exactly. And by the end, he was like, they were asking like, how much longer do you think you can last out here? And it's like, I don't know, another 30 days or so for sure. And then we'll start like having a little bit of worry. It's like,
I was
are
like,
you
what the
kidding me, dude?
fuck, dude? He's better than
Everybody. From start to finish, he was just on point.
Number 2, Biko.
Biko for sure. He had a great attitude.
The best at
Like the best attitude. That guy was. I thought I was gonna hate Biko when it came on.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like I don't know anyone that's like
Pagan.
like that pagan and nerdy and death metal like that with the long greasy hair and stuff. I'm just like, oh, like I just like roll my eyes whenever I see them. But he was actually very entertaining to watch. Very fun. Good singing voice. And
Yeah, really good singing voice,
singing voice.
honestly.
Really good singing voice.
Honestly,
Actually, it was a high
yeah.
point of the show for me.
Yeah, he had-
and
honestly,
he had a great attitude the entire time.
Best
Like it only started to fall off a little bit towards the end when he was getting clinically depressed because he was dying.
I mean, here's the thing: is like on his point and Clay's, whoever makes it towards the end. Spoiler alerts.
Yeah.
When you're past day 60, you got to be sitting there like, dude, what the fuck?
I hate this. I
Like,
hate this.
how many people can be left? How many people can be
no,
left?
yeah.
Like, what do we? I'm miserable.
How are they not more miserable?
When Biko eats the bark soup,
Oh, he hated that.
I love that because he's like, oh my god, this makes me want to quit. This is terrible. Oh my fucking
yeah, I
God.
know. It was like, and by the end there was that like he was like, oh, nature and all this stuff, it's great. I'm gonna fish and all this stuff. And by towards the end, it's like, I'm gonna fucking kill the mouse that's eating all my shit.
And then he
It's
eats
gotta-
his brace as someone who
that was
had
right.
an ankle
Yeah,
problem.
someone who had. So Biko, I resonate with Biko quite a bit because he had
So we're similar sizes.
were similar sizes. I don't even think that's true. That's a little mean.
No,
Jesus.
You were.
Man, well, but he had an ankle injury months before the show started, and the rehab took longer. He broke it, yeah. It was like, yeah, just like me. And the rehab took a lot longer than he thought it was going to. He went into the show with a brace on still. He was really concerned about it. So I get that. I totally get that. Mad props for still going on the show and doing that. That shit sucks. Like, it's horrible. And he kept his attitude through the majority of it, and I was so impressed with it. I was
the bone thing through
away.
The nose.
That was gross. That was gross. Didn't need to see that, but whatever.
The number 3. That's a really up in the air.
Yeah, that's the contested one.
I'm trying to think. I didn't really think about my number 3. Do you have number 3 already?
I think my number 3 is honestly gonna be Rose. I know I know she didn't win. I know she didn't make it all the way to the end, and she was actually not in the top 4.
Mine's gonna be Nate because he built a pier, and I thought that was cool.
Well, fair. Nate was a really good character too. Yeah,
but he's also kind of a pussy. I'm sorry, Nate. You're kind of a pussy. You're like, I'm sick. You weren't sick, dude. Yeah, you were not sick. You're just gonna hack it.
And he was throwing up. They might have thought he had salmonella poisoning.
No, you don't think? He just pretended to be like, I just think he couldn't hack anymore. That's where, you know what? Actually, I take back. Throw Nate out of there. Pierre's cool. Rose, I agree. Rose pushed her body to the fucking
Rose was...
And her permanent shelter sucked dick.
Yeah, I know. She was the only character that,
Character.
You're all on TV. You're all characters now. Calm down. She was the only person that I, went into the show with, I want you to lose now because you're being kind of annoying. To the point where I'm I had... the utmost respect. She had a great character arc. Mm-hmm. She turned around the entire show on me, and they didn't show her a lot in some of the earlier episodes. She wasn't that prominent. I think that's just because she was just kicking it on her own, doing her thing. But they she had it under control for the most part. And I was wow, her snares great. I think she wanted to fight a fox at one point because it was trying to eat her stuff. But other than that, she was she was really put together, and her shelter could have been better, could have been cooler, but
no, it was trash. It was trash.
Yeah, it was trash.
Anybody who builds that, it's like a tripod with a pizza thing going over, and then another tripod. That shelter sucks.
Yeah, it's not
that's
a move.
Not a good shelter.
Not a move. You need solid wood structures.
And my boss Tiffany made a good point. She was like, "You want to build a really nice shelter. You do want to build it because you're about to be stuck in it.
Yes.
So you want to feel comfortable. If you're in a shitty shelter, you're gonna hate your life.
Exactly. Facts.
All right. Let's talk worst character.
Okay. Matt.
Matt is the worst.
I hate Matt.
Matt is by far the worst.
Matt's a stupid hippie.
Okay, here's the thing about Matt that I hated more than anything. Not only did he suck, because he sucked. His shelter was, once again, shit.
Garbage. You can't even stand up on it.
I hated Matt's whole thing where he's like, oh, you're going to judge me, sitting there eating your chips and popcorn. Who are you to judge me? Why? He's like, I don't care if people judge me. He cared a lot about people judging him.
Yeah. A lot.
Even though he said it a thousand times. First off, everyone on the show is more badass than me when it comes to survival.
Oh, facts.
Factual.
Just the fact that you signed the form to go do this makes you more badass than me.
Everyone in the NFL that's a wide receiver is better at being a wide receiver than I am.
This is correct.
Every quarterback is better than being a quarterback than I am. But I will sit from my motherfucking couch and judge the shit out of you.
Hell yeah.
Because guess what? You're a professional, so I know you should be able to do it.
Yes, I expect perfection out of you.
So guess what, Matt? Yes, I will sit from my couch and I will judge you for fucking up.
100%.
I hate that. I hate that. You're on a reality TV show, dude. Of course, the whole idea is we're going to sit here and judge you. Yes, we get it. We're not as good as you at this concept, but I expect a professional. You say you're just a professional as Clay is being a survivalist.
Yeah.
Clay is fucking Josh Allen.
Yes.
Matt is...
Who's the quarterback for the Texans?
Which one?
I don't know idea.
No, I was going to say something else. Clay is... Matt is... Zach Wilson.
All righty. I'm going. Yeah, Zach Wilson.
He's Zach
Wilson.
Wilson.
Of shit. It's nice.
Cares only about himself. Is a boob.
Yeah.
It's yes, I could sit there and go, Zach Wilson sucks at being a quarterback.
Yes, 100%. You can. Yeah. It
is
your right, too.
Is he better than me at a quarterback?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actual. He can run circles around me.
Tiny little hands.
He can probably put the ball through my chest and kill me.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
But I know he sucks. He's a professional. So Matt is a professional survivalist. We're going to judge you.
Yes.
You're on a reality TV show. Don't go on the show.
Yes, don't do it. Also, don't go on the show to spite other people. Like, that's his whole point. It's like, I'm going to prove people wrong. People are going to judge me, and I'm going to prove them wrong or something like that because they don't know.
Go for your family.
Go for it. Just go for the money. There are a lot of people who are just like, I think Coulter was like that. He was just like, I'm just here for the money. And I'm just like, good. I like that. I'll take the honesty. Well, good for you.
Coulter also, like, he's kind of a loser.
A little bit. He likes his parents.
He talked about his parents a lot.
I like his parents a lot, but
pretty sure that guy's dead. That guy might be a wizard.
No. He had a little bit there where he talked about how he had a long-term girlfriend and she had a kid, and not with him. She had her own kid, and he was like sort of like for a little while the de facto father until they split.
Oh, I don't remember.
He talked. It was a little bit about it. Yeah, it was a little bit about it.
There's times where people talk and I just skip.
Fair enough.
Well, there's how many people we're gonna hear when they're like, "I miss my family." It's like we've heard this already. Of course, you miss your family.
I know. I get it. Yes. Just skip past that part.
But I went on forever about how awful Matt is. But why don't you go on?
I hated Matt. I hated Matt from the moment I saw Matt. Anyone who walks in with their scraggly ass hair and their weird ass attitude and they're naming their cameras, I'm just like, no, get the fuck out of here, you stupid hippie. I hated this guy. Anyone that said like, I decided to live for 9 years in a shelter I built is not, no, you're not winning. You're weird. You're not doing it. You like lived in your shelter, but how many times did you go to 7-Eleven? Like, because apparently you're not that good at living in a shelter.
Apparently.
So that just annoyed the living shit out of me.
Evidently.
I hated his attitude. I hated how he was there to prove, because he knew that he was a fringe fucking weirdo, and he was there to prove to people that like he was more badass than other people. And I'm like, get out of here! Don't be here to prove other people wrong. That's why I didn't like Rose when she first got there, because she had this whole bit about like, I'm gonna prove that a woman can do all this, and it's like, no one was saying they couldn't before.
Yeah.
And like, that's what he was like, just be there to show that you're the best, not that you're the best to prove some nonsense. Don't have a chip on your shoulder. I hate those people.
I will say that I don't want to spoil myself. I don't know if a woman's ever won it.
I have no idea.
I don't know. They definitely could have. I don't know.
They definitely could have.
They probably have, because she didn't say I want to be Teresa or her or the other.
Oh yeah, no one said they want to be the first woman to win.
The other girl that no one cared about.
She was. She also lived in a shelter for a few years of her life.
Yeah. Well. Terrible ideas.
Terrible
because you ate fucking cow thing, whatever that was.
That might have been water hemlock.
Yeah, water hemlock. The Witcher. Is it in The Witcher? I don't know.
No, hemlock is just a poisonous plant.
Isn't water hemlock in The Witcher though?
Maybe.
I don't know. You should have just went along with it. It would have been.
No, I'm not gonna put my name on something that might be factually incorrect about The Witcher.
I mean, it could be. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. It was definitely in The Witcher.
Sure.
100%.
Man who hasn't played the games or read the books.
And if it's not, we'll just blame Davis on it.
No, we won't.
Yeah, we will.
No, we won't. I have
That's how this podcast works.
No, but I have put up the barrier. I've divorced myself from that opinion. This is just on your half of the podcast.
It's like you
this is your half.
It was season 7 of My Hero Academia.
This is your half of the podcast.
No, it's like you think it's season 7.
I am.
You said it was season 7.
I sit upon my throne of credibility, and you're over there in your trash heap of incorrectness. No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Yes, that's what happened.
When it sounds like I'm good with editing, I'm just gonna start like I'm gonna pause the video, pull up the clip where you said it wrong, and just keep going on the podcast. I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna get good.
I remember when I was right. Anyways, great show. Great show.
On YouTube too.
Let's rank season 8. Let's
give
it out of 10 review. We started season 6, so we do have a little bit of
we do have a little bit of a basis to go off of.
And I actually think this has been the first times ever where we should go back on this.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, we should definitely come back and readjust our rankings, because who knows, we have 7 more seasons to get through right now.
Exactly. We're not going to watch all of them, but yes. Especially the one where they're duos, because I'm not watching that.
Unless I get really bored when all my anime runs out. I'm going to say Alone season 8. I had a great time watching it. Some great characters, great intro to the show. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, I would agree with that. I'm going to give it
just because 6 has been better so far.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 7.3 because it's really great. 6 has been better. You are right. 2 episodes in, it's already
6 has already been better, yeah.
More badass people. More people bulked up.
They can fish.
Yeah, they can actually catch things.
Fish. I just watch them like throwing their line out for 20 minutes of an episode and getting nothing.
I will say, I think what saves season 8 better than anything is if Clay didn't exist.
Oh, yeah, no.
The season wouldn't have been as good.
Clay was a badass. He was the winner, by the way.
Oh yeah, Clay won.
Clay was the best. We called it early on too. We wanted him to win.
He killed a deer.
He killed a deer and smoked it. Clay is just better than everybody at everything. And you guys should go check out his YouTube channel. Oh, I can't remember his last name. But let's look up Clay from Alone and then go find his full name, find his YouTube channel, because that's what it is. He has millions of views where he does all this cool like nature shit, forging arrows and all this jazz. Yeah. That man's legit. So go check him out.
Thank you, Normal Nerd Nation, for listening and maybe even watching another podcast episode. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, and Instagram. Davis is always posting hilarious memes on there.
Also, like and subscribe while you're at it, and leave a rating if you have some time. It helps people find the show.